Hello, Spirits of Vengeance, and welcome back to the Ghost Rider Vlog. So, today's episode is going to be on book number 51 of the original Ghost Rider run. This one is, at least on the cover, titled Stay Off of Clemens Road, or Else, while the inside cover is called The Diesel of Doom. This is a short one-story romp. Also, mentioning the cover real quick, that's one heck of a cover. We got what looks to be almost demon-possessed truck running over the Ghost Rider and knocking him into the foreground. Again, not something that actually happens in this particular comic book, but it does represent a couple of things that will be going on. Obviously, we will have Ghost Rider, and obviously we will have a sort of supernatural truck at some point involved with the storyline. Now to the story proper, we start off with Johnny on a highway around the mountain pass, and he nearly gets run over flat by a semi-truck. It's a really old diesel one that by the notion from Johnny, is at least a couple of years out of date, a couple decades rather out of date. He nearly gets run over and killed, but he gets knocked over a fence instead, and in the tumbling he tests to turn to Ghost Rider in order to save himself from dying from the fall. He manages to grab the mountainside as Ghost Rider and gets himself back up and tries to chase after the diesel truck, only to find out the diesel truck has disappeared. Having nowhere else to go and nothing else he can really do about it, Johnny heads back to his bike and tries to find some help because the gasoline canister has been broken open. A little ways down the road, he bumps into a young man with a rather expensive car. Upon trying to talk to the young man, he quickly notices that it is Johnny Blaze. Apparently he's a longtime fan of Johnny's and was a bit of a biker himself, so he was by no means going to say no to having a very popular stunt hero like Johnny when he's around. So he's going to try and help Johnny get back to a mechanic to try and fix his bike. However, as they're doing this, the young man mentions that there are spikes in the road and questions why would anyone do something as silly or as outrageous as this, and that he would like to sock the guy who did this to ruin the tires and one of the tires on his car, to which the bikers literally come out and go hi. Quickly, they decide that they're going to waste Johnny, but Johnny, of course, has to turn to Ghost Rider in order to save his own skin, and does battle with the bikers. He turns back to normal, and they're trying to figure out what to do when suddenly a couple police officers on bikes come up. However, Johnny starts to state out loud that he notices that their bikes are wrong because they're supposed to be a different model, to which he gets clubbed in the back of the head for it, and the guys run off with the kid. They set the car ablaze and don't bother trying to kill Johnny because he can't really do anything out in the middle of nowhere with no vehicles anyway. It turns out that this kid is from a rich family. They try to tempt his uncle into giving them $1 million, but the uncle just notes that trying to pay off these guys would only surmount to having more tax on the rest of his family and more of their wealth being stolen by more thugs like this. So the answer regrettably had to be no. Despite even the fact that they threatened to kill the guy's nephew. Luckily, in the nephew's sake, Johnny is on the tail end of trying to catch up to them, helped by Clemens, the truck driver. The driver of the exact same truck that almost tried to kill him earlier. Clem decides to help out Johnny because he knows more or less what's been going on after also seeing the burning car, and helps Johnny try to get over there as quickly as possible. He notes that he can't leave the truck, but he knows that the guys are in the mine shack, and points Johnny that way and allows Johnny to run off, turn to the Ghost Rider, and attack them. After using the Hellfire on them, he weakens them to such a state that they can easily get them into the back of the truck. But before they could join Clem's, he tells the other two that he has to do this alone, and that he's going to ride off now and take care of these guys. To which, as the morning sun rises, the truck disappears in the morning light with a slight orange glow, the sound of a diesel truck roaring into the sunset, and the screams of the bikers as they are apparently being taken to what they deserve in the end, as the truck completely dissolves into nothing. 1 hour later, apparently they stole one of the bikes from, one or more of the bikes from these thugs and ride off to try and get some help. They come across a mechanic who mentions the fact that you guys must not be around here, because no one on a bike would ever dare go down that road. It's Clem's road. Clem died about, I think according to this, about 40 years ago. He was beaten to death by biker thugs. And thus ends our story. Interesting little one-shoot. Quite enjoyed it. We'll probably... I almost wanted this to be one of the other heroes from the Marvel Universe, which was actually kind of a toy line, but it's a pretty good one-off story, I think. Very interesting tale, and we will see what we can come up with next time when we move from 1980 to 1981. And we start with our next episode of issue number 52. See you all then.